what are some of the best and most practical reopening practices you're seeing in the market that are successful at attracting new and returning customers?
Yeah, so I mean, it actually started, the ones that have been most successful, the ones that never took the foot off the gas, even when they had to have their locations closed. So, for example, one of the things we did pretty early on is an element of our platform allows merchants to be able to sell gift cards, like virtual gift cards, or buy now vouchers, we call them. So we call them support vouchers, and gave merchants the ability to sell these support vouchers to their customer base. Probably not to new consumers in their area, but they at least had that database, so they sold to their past customers. And so what that did is, these consumers, first of all, they don't want to see you go out of business. They like, I mean, they've maybe been buying pecan pies from Three Brothers Bakery like every year, twice a year for like the last 10 years, right? I mean, they don't want to see you go out of business. And so they know who you are. They know you're a part of the community, especially if you're going around doing community events and everything else. And so they're willing to spend money to support these, these businesses while their doors are closed, knowing that these businesses are struggling with cash flow, struggling with employees, and just even putting food on their own table for their families, depending on the situation. And so the businesses that have come out the best on the other side are the ones that have sold stuff while they were closed, and then leveraged the things that they were selling to attract and drive those people, those consumers then in the door once they're open to go and use those gift certificates or support vouchers or anything else. So, and if we're now talking post this, so even if you haven't gone and done this, what we found is the ones that are most successful is to sell something to somebody that they can purchase. They may not feel comfortable coming out, right? I think the stats vary depending on state to state, but let's call it 20% of the population feels comfortable relatively going out and into the world. They've got their mask and everything else. The other 80% for what, at different times doesn't feel comfortable, but they will at some point, and they may need to at some point. And so if you can sell something to them now, that they can purchase in advance and then come in the door later, use that to come in the door, most likely, especially if time has passed, they'll spend more actually than what they had already previously purchased with you as well. So that's just one tactic we've seen really successful. Others are, again, it depends on your type of business, but consumers sometimes want to feel comfortable knowing that they're coming in earlier in the day when you might be cleaner, quote unquote cleaner, because they care about hygiene, they care about cleanliness. And so they may want to get the first, the first open cut haircut, right? Or the first, as soon as your doors are open, you got somebody there. So if you can then create promotions and time blocks where people can come during a certain window to get a different percentage off to fill in some of your capacity, for example, or to get a value add if you don't want to discount your services. They come in and they get something extra for coming in, at a certain time. We found that to be really successful as well, where you're controlling and trying to provide incentives for consumers to come during times where you also know they might feel more comfortable coming naturally anyway. And so you're just giving them extra little boost to come out the door.